Hey everyone, welcome to Shimmer Girl Talks. I'm not going to be here long, but Khaby Lame's wife filed for divorce, seeking half of his assets. But court says he owns nothing with everything listed under his father's name. All I can say is bravo. And when I remember seeing him early on in the TikToks. Well, I didn't have TikTok, so it must have been Instagram, when he would do this. And he ended up with a multi-million dollar contract with somebody. And I thought, you're going to have these Jezebels coming out of the woodwork for him. And so I'm going to read this really quick. Khaby Lame, I know I'm not pronouncing that right, and I'm definitely not going to try to pronounce his wife's last name, and Wendy separated in 2024. They just got married in 2023, with divorce proceedings filed in April 2026 involving disputes over his $80 million fortune and a $975 million AI deal. I knew whatever woman, it was just at the back of my mind before he was married. I said it's going to be some succubus that's going to try to get her filthy claws on that man's money. And sure as the day I was born, that's exactly what happened. And I'm so glad that he has somebody in his family had the presence of mind to put his money in a trustworthy person's name, meaning his father. And obviously, you have parents who've taken their rich children to the banks and depleted their bank accounts. But hopefully that's not the case for him. But I'm thinking more of these black athletes here in America need to do the same thing in silence. Don't even tell these women. Let them think that you have these millions of dollars, but put it in your parents' name. Hopefully you don't have a ratchet parent. And, don't put it in nobody else but your parents' name. Maybe even a sibling, maybe. But I'm glad that this worked out for him, because I knew that it was going to be some wench that was going to try to get her nasty hands on that man's hard-earned cash. She does not deserve to walk away for half of his money at all. Period. Married less than a year, talking about taking half of that man's millions of dollars. Now I can see if she had been with him for 20 years, pushed out a couple of kids, and maybe he was, or infidelity or whatever, maybe. But Trick, you had less than 2 years with that man, marriage-wise. You deserve nothing. And I'm glad that this worked out in his favor. And I hope the courts, I don't know what the latest is about this, but I hope that she gets nothing. I think that that's disgusting. And I can't stand a gold digger as much as I can't stand a simp. And that's my topic.